Hey! Oh, hey guys. Welcome back. I'm back in the lab, clearly. And today we are joined by Dave. This is David. He owns the house. Kat is here somewhere. He's over there on the beanbag. He'll probably come over here later, but hi. How are you? I am sitting down today to make this video. Hold on. I need my coffee. Let me go get that. Ooh. Sorry about that. Here to make this video today because, I mean, my YouTube was supposed to be, well, what I had envisioned it to be was to be like this. Diary entry shit, like me just talking. Turns out it like became vlogish, which is cool because it can be whatever I literally want it to be because it's my account. Today we're getting back into like the origin. But I wanted to make a diary entry today about where I've been in terms of like, or how the first quarter went. Let's do it that way. Things of that nature, because it has been very roller coastery, which I mean, like, if you know me like that, you know my life is never short of a roller coaster anyways, but definitely got thrown into the deep end this past month and a bit. So I just dropped the Bali vlog, which happened 2 months ago, and I feel like the reason that it took me so long to do that is just because of everything that has been occurring, and that's what I wanted to talk about today because I'm a yapper. I need to yap to survive. If I don't get out like 1,000 words a day, like I have to go to the doctors or something. So that's what we're doing. I've been putting this off and avoiding this video for a really long time. I had the idea to do it maybe, what's the date today? Yeah, a month ago, but it's taken a lot, and I've just been listening to myself a lot more lately and going with the motions rather than making myself commit to something when I'm not ready to do it. So, I mean, am I ready to do this? I'm not sure. I feel like it will make me feel better in a sense, but not completely because I don't think it'll ever feel better. But yeah, so damn. It's like I had like a whole script in my head of like dot points and things that I wanted to say, and now it's just like all completely gone. Damn, bro. Okay. Today's diary entry is called Diary Entry Number 2. Grief is weird as fuck. Yeah, there was something that's happened like a month and a half ago now. And yeah, it just completely rattled myself. A lot of people in my life that I really do love and care about. And a lot of people in Melbourne as a whole. And it still doesn't feel real. I don't think it ever will feel real, to be fair. Sometimes I be catching myself like forgetting that it happened, and then I just have to sit there and kind of try and accept that it happened. But for those of you that don't know or have no idea what I'm talking about, or you do, on the 19th of February, oh my god, how do I say this? How do I say it? I don't feel like there's any right way to say it, but like I just, on the 19th of February, one of my close friends, his name is Nat. Oh god. Part of me feels like I'm doing a fucking news report, and then part of me is just like, just be normal. And I'm like, I'm trying. But like, how do you say it? I've said it to myself. I've practiced this in my room, like over and over and over again, to like build myself up for it, and I just can't get it out. I can't. Okay, let's try again. Oh my god. On the 19th of February, which was a month and a half ago, one of my good friends, Natalie, Nathaniel, Nathan, however people knew him, had his life tragically taken from him and senselessly taken from him at a bus stop in Wyndham Vale. From what I understand and from what I need to understand, I don't feel like I need to, me personally, know any more than I do. He was on a bus, headed home, headed somewhere to go for a run, something to do with fitness. And these two things, I don't even want to call them people because there's no way that you can be an actual person and do this to somebody, but these two things get on the bus, sit near him apparently, an argument or something broke out, a fight broke out, they they spilled onto the street. And I'm like, this is recollection from what I've read and what I've been told. Spilled out onto the nature strip, and then they stabbed him. I feel sick. Left him on the street, ran away. Someone walking past found him, called the first responders, the paramedics, the ambulance, the police, whoever. They came and he died on the scene. It's tragic. It completely, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience. I know that everybody else is completely different when it comes to this situation, when it comes to every situation, but this just completely altered my brain chemistry. Like, the way that I found out, it was what day was it? It was a Thursday. I'm in my bed. I was on the phone with my friend Jade. She lives in Philly. I remember I was crashing out about something else. I was like, you know me, like fucking complaining about something. Me and her just going back and forth. And I get a text message from my friend Amy. Oh, hey, Dave. What you about to do? Just so precious. Okay. She sent me 2 photos and said, bro, what the fuck is this? And I open it. I'm literally on FaceTime with Jade. And before I'd even read what was on it, I could see it was Nat. Like, I could see, like, him in the photos. And, like, I clicked on it and I read what was on it. I didn't even read the whole thing. I just read, it was from Killy's story. And it had just said something like, rest in peace, or I can find it. Hold on. Ooh. It says, till we meet again, with the dove and the white heart. And then just like a paragraph I didn't even read what was on it. I just saw it was Nat, and then I clicked on one of them. It said, till we meet again. My first thought, definitely a denial thought, it's Nat's birthday. But also then I was like, but why would Amy send me a post for Nat's birthday? And I was like, this is not Nat's birthday. His birthday's not till later in the year. Like, why would Amy send me a photo and then say, bro, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, I open it, I'm on FaceTime with Jade, and my face just drops and I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Oscar, like, to be there for that, oh God. Immediate denial, immediate disbelief, immediate all of this. I'm like, whoa, 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 like, what's going on? And she's asking me, and I'm like, why did my friend just send me this? Is this a joke? Like, this has to be some type of sick joke. I also didn't know that Killy and Nat were related. I think they're related. I think they're cousins. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't know that they were, like, close in any sense. So I'm like, why? What? I'm like, why is Killy saying this? I'm confused. So I don't know what kind of sick joke people were playing that day. I don't know what was going on. All I knew is that, like, I needed, like, triple, quadruple, quintuple, all of the dribbles confirmation before I could even begin to understand, like, what was happening. I go onto Nat's Instagram, and I'm on the phone with Jade, and I'm scrolling through, and I go through every single one of our, like, 180 mutuals, and I watch all of their stories, and there was nothing. I look at everyone's notes. I scroll to I've never paid attention to notes on Instagram. I scroll all the way to the end and look for something. Scroll to the end of all of the stories of everybody that I follow, and I click on the people that I think would post something. Nothing. And I'm like, nah, like, what? So I tell Jade, like, I need to figure out if this is real or not, because if it is, that's fucked up. If it's not real, that's also fucked up. So I call my friend Henry, because I'm like, if anyone will know, it's Henry. And unfortunately, I had to be the one to tell Henry, because Henry didn't know. While I'm calling him, I'm still looking at at everyone's stories, and I see my friend Ace post something. It was a photo of Nat, and it said, like, RIP or something, and I'm like, no. How about that? How about no? Have we ever thought about no? I'm on the phone with Henry, and I'm like, Henry, what's going on? And he just woke up. It was 12. It was midday. He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, to Nat, like, what happened to Nat? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, go and look at Killy's story. Like, when he said he had no idea what was going on, then I immediately, like, I felt so bad. Yeah, and then he had said to me, like, I don't know what you're talking about. He opens Killy's story. I'd messaged Ace, and I said, what's going on, Amy? This all happened in literally, like, 2 minutes. Amy texted me, Ace replied, I'm on the phone with Henry. Amy said to me, like, I hope this has nothing to do with that stabbing. And then like literally Henry's on the phone. He's like, no, hold on, let me call the boys, like Bless and Bernard and stuff. So we get off the phone, I open Ace's message, and it's this news report.
Homicide Squad detectives are investigating after a man died following an altercation in Wyndham Vale on Tuesday evening. Emergency services responded to reports of a confrontation at a bus stop near Haynes Drive around 8 p.m. Upon arrival, police found a man with injuries consistent with a stabbing. The man was unable to be saved and died at the scene.
And then as I'm watching that news report, I get a text from Amy, and she said, oh shit, it is to do with that stabbing that happened. And I just like, I don't even remember. I just laid there. Henry called me back maybe like 5 or 10 minutes later and said like, bro, it's real, he's crying on the phone. And I'm like, nah. Like, that shit doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't actually happen. What do you mean? It doesn't happen. That's not in Melbourne. Like, that doesn't happen in Melbourne. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I still can't comprehend it. I still can't. Part of me doesn't want to comprehend it because, like, comprehending that it happened makes it real. And that's why this episode is called Grief is Weird as Fuck, because it is weird as fuck. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean he died? I don't even like saying that. What do you mean? And like, you know me. I'm a crash out. I will crash out about anything. The wind is blowing weird. I'll crash out about it. I couldn't even crash out. I just laid there. Cause like, what do you mean? And then the stories like started flooding in the notes started flooding in, like R.I.P. Nat, long live Nat, like everything, or everyone's stories. And then I'm like, what? I'm still laying there, and I'm like, I know I have these very specific videos of him because I used to film them like all the time, like the Out West boys for like their Halloweens and stuff. And I go through and I find my videos, I find my photo, I put it on my story because I don't know, I felt I don't know, I felt like I had a duty to tell people. I don't know what it was. I really didn't. I also like, I wanted people to know who he will always be. I don't know, I just laid there, and I just laid there for a bit, and then I just started bawling my eyes out in my unicorn. And then Chantel had called me, a bunch of people replying to my story, asking me what happened, and I just sent them the news report. I feel like I kept going back to, I was trying not to be on my phone, like I was trying so hard. But part of me was like, I need to keep looking to confirm that this is real. Like, just because I said it, like I could take it down if we're all lying. Like I'm happy to do that. I could take it down. Say the word, I'll take it down. I can say it now, I think. I don't know, for the sake of the video, I could say it. But it was real. Was it? I ended up calling one of my friends in the States, and he was like, what's wrong? And that was like the first time that I'd said it. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. He's like, what's wrong? And I say, like, one of my friends was murdered at a bus stop. And I just lost it. I still can't, like, even just saying that now. It's so strange. And it'll forever be strange. But that's unfortunately what happened. Like, after I said that, I just lost it. I lost it. And after that phone call, I just laid down and just stared out the window. And like, one thing about me too, like, I love a sign. I look for signs everywhere. Alignment, all of that kind of stuff. And the sign for me was like, I look outside, of course it's a beautiful fucking day. It was blue skies, no clouds, slight breeze, and it was 25 degrees. And to me, that's my definition of a perfect day. And I was like, of course it's a perfect day right now. Like, of course it is. I held on to that sign because the next 2 weeks, I think, every single day was a beautiful day. Barely any clouds, sunny, warm but not too warm. And if you know Melbourne weather, you know it's never like that. Never like that. Not a drop of rain. I think it rained for maybe 20 minutes on a Saturday. But other than that, blue skies, warm, all of that. And like, yeah, it's summer, but it's Melbourne. No harsh winds, no like 40-degree days. Like it was all between 23 and 28 consecutively for 2 weeks. And I was like, this is not. When something like that happens, it makes you think about everything that you didn't do. He used to work at the Adidas store in Melbourne Central, and I work at Hyper QV. And I used to walk past his work all the time to go, like when I was on my way to work, because I'd walk through there, go to 7-Eleven, get my coffee, then go to work. It just made me think of all those times I would always wave at him. I would always wave. I'd go in if I had time to like say hi and stuff. But like it made me think of all the times that I didn't go in there and I saw him. Or I should have reached out more. I should have done this. I should have done that. But there's nothing that I can change about that now. And he was such a, like, if you knew him, what a blessing it was to know Nat. To know Nat is to love Nat. He was one of the first people, I want to say that, like one of the first people I met when I moved to Melbourne. I don't even remember how I met him. I don't. I think it was probably through other people. It was probably at an event or something. I don't remember how I met him because it was like 4 years ago now. He was just always so kind. He was literally a beam of light. He still is. You can feel him everywhere. And like when I say he was an angel, like he literally was, and he is. He would always make sure that you're okay. He would always put other people above himself. He would always be so supportive of everything that everyone wanted to do and like push people to be better. And all the stories that I've heard now, like since he's passed, about like how he treated other people, he's just like, of course he did. Because that's just who he was. He was definitely a man of his word. I remember one of the first times that we hung out, I used to live in Carlton and I had this outdoor basketball court across the street from my house. I would just go there and like shoot and stuff like that. And I posted on my story, and I remember one time he's like, I want to come and I want to play, like, da-da-da. I was like, yeah, cool. We'd put a wager on it, $50. Whoever loses has to pay $50. And mind you, I'm about that. I don't care. Like, I am. The fuck? And I did win. And man of his word, he did send me that $50, and I bought Macca's with it. Not the whole thing, obviously. He really thought he could beat me. He was wrong, and I was $50 richer. The Halloween party of like 2021, coming fresh out of COVID, that's when I made my first video. That's when this whole thing started for me, was this specific Halloween party that the Out West boys had. He was one of the only people there I knew. I knew him, Samson, Masanda, and Brandon. I did not know anyone else. And I was so nervous, but he like would make sure that I was okay. I have this video of him, and he was dressed as like Men in Black. And I was Lara Croft, so I had the little like orange like toy gun thing, and he was just like rolling around on the floor with it. Like a goof. Every time I would see him after that, it would always be like, he was just so warm. He was so warm. And he had so many things that he wanted to do, and like we would always talk about it. And I remember the last time that I saw him, last two times that I saw him, it was when I got back from America last year. Funnily enough, the day that I'd gotten back was Henry's birthday, and he'd had an Airbnb, so I like pulled up. I hadn't seen them all in like 3 or 4 months or whatever. So I pull up and we're like chilling, and then Nat walks in, and like just his face when he saw me. Henry even brought this up. He's like, I still think about when Nat saw you. We literally like just looked at each other and went and just jumped up and down, like gave him the biggest hug. He said his hellos, and then he sat me down and he was like, sit down, like I want to hear everything. I want to hear everything about your trip. And like he was so locked into everything that I was doing, I barely even had to like bring up anything. He just sat there like listening, just like this. We just talked for like maybe like 40 minutes about my trip, and like he just, man, oh man, he just like, he could just see you. He could just see people for like who they are and what they can be, even if you couldn't. When I talked about in my first diary entry, and I was like, I did my light like for the sake of other people, and I dumbed down or I dimmed down the things that I've achieved because I don't want people to think I have a big head, and like he would not let me do that. He wouldn't. Like he was so proud. He was so proud of me for doing the Travis Scott concert because he knew how big that was for me. Like he knew me. he knew how bad I wanted to do that. He knew how much I love New York, so he wanted to hear every single detail and part of it. And I just remember every time I would see him out, like, not just after that point, like even before this, it would always be like, when are you going back to New York? Or he'd see me and he'd be like, what are you still doing here? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I can't be in an event? Like, I can't be here? And he'd be like, no, like, what are you still doing in Melbourne? Like, you're too big for this place now. You need to leave. You need to go and do this stuff. Like, you belong over there. I see what you're doing. Like, you have so much potential. You need to leave. And I'm like, yeah, I know, like, visas and stuff. And he's like, yeah, well, you got to go. Like, especially after, like, the last time I saw him at Henry's. He was like, nah, the next thing you need to go. And I was like, yeah, honestly, I'm like thinking of moving to Canada. And he's like, yeah, I want to move to Canada too. Like, I want to do this. Like, I'm trying to get my, are you coming up here? You are. This is Cat. His name's Catrick, government name, but we call him Cat. Cat and Dave. I'm sorry, he's like completely flashing the camera right now. Put your butt down. Stop. Thank you. Oh. Okay. I think one of the most heartbreaking things that I heard that just like numbed me inside was when we were at the funeral. One of his siblings was talking. I think it was his older sister, Naomi. And she was saying about how he was literally going to get his citizenship the next day, like on the 20th. And he would always tell me about how he like is just waiting to get his citizenship so he can get his passport so he can go travel. And he was literally going to get it the next day. And that when I heard that, like that numbed me, bro. Because we would always talk about leaving. And he was so close to doing it. And they just had to take that away. For what? And I think the hardest part to grasp about this whole situation is that it didn't need to happen. Like, we shouldn't be going through this right now. And I remember when I found out, I thought maybe he had been sick, or I thought maybe he had been going through something and he had, God forbid, done it to himself. And I was like, but there's no way. But to find out that something else did it to him for no reason, over what? They wanted his phone or something? Like, what are we doing? Like, you did all that for what? And I think that's the hardest part to grasp about this, is that it didn't need to happen. It never needs to happen to anybody. Like, I mean, they say that one thing is for certain, and that's death. I don't know how it fucking goes. Something along those lines, right? Okay, that's certain, but it didn't need to happen like that. Like, this could have all been avoided. This didn't need to happen. Like, he should be here. He should be here. And oh God, bro, like, yeah, I don't know. The next day, I'd be forgetting shit. I'd be forgetting shit. I woke up the next day and I went and got coffee with my friend Jada. I felt fine because I'd forgotten. I'd felt fine. And then I remembered, but I could see how distraught Jada was. And I think that this whole situation has, hurt me like so bad for two reasons. One, because can you get out of my jacket? Because like I said, this didn't need to fucking happen. Our friend is gone now because of something so fucking stupid. But the second reason this has hurt me so to my core so bad is because I've seen how much it has affected the people that I care about so much. I could feel myself not processing things because I was trying to be there and comfort the people around me. Jada, Chantel, Bella, and then, all the boys like Bernard, Uzi, Brandon, Henry, everyone that I would do anything for. And I kind of put myself aside for that time being. And I feel like I posted some things on my story a couple days after, because first of all, crashed out the next day because someone made a fake fucking GoFundMe page. I was like, nah, I shouldn't crash out. I should just say something. Nah, fuck that. Who the fuck did that? Because what goes through your brain to see something so tragic happen in a community of people that really loved this person? And you're like, let me capitalize off that. Pretend to be Nat's dad. Make a GoFundMe. That shit had like $24,000 in it in like a couple hours because people care. Only for it to turn out to be fake. What are we doing? Where did we go wrong in society? And I lost it. I was losing my mind in my room because there is no fucking way that was real. It got taken down. I hope everyone got their fucking refund. All I know is that whoever fucking did that better not want me to find out, first of all, and wouldn't want to run into me in the street. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. This could be I don't care. I don't care at all. Anyway, I digress. Sorry guys, sorry for yelling. I posted some things on my story a couple days later because I was just like, I don't know how to process things like this. I've never had to go through something like this. I've only ever had 2 deaths close to me, and they were my great-grandmothers, both of them. In that situation, you know what's going to happen. You can kind of mentally prepare yourself. But this was just out of nowhere. I had no idea how to process this. So I just talked. I wrote down some things in my notes, and then I am going to post these on my Instagram story because, look, if this can relate to somebody else and make them feel less alone, more seen, anything like that in this like really hard time where we actually genuinely all have to come together to just be there for each other, then I'll do it. If people had something to say about it, that's fine, but this is my process, I guess. Okay, cat relocation. Do not know. No, these are good pants. Don't touch them. Okay. Then a couple days after that, we had the candle walk, and it was at the spot where he died, which was very full on, very eerie. And you just look around and you're like, I tried not to put myself in his position so many times. Just standing there, you could just feel him everywhere. You can feel him in so many different places, which is a blessing, I guess. But we did that walk. As soon as my friend came up and hugged me, I just lost it. They wrote his name out in candles on the ground, and everyone just gathered around and they played music. And I just know this was such a universal collective feeling from everybody. As soon as I heard the first 2 notes of Godspeed by Frank Ocean, I went, oh, fuck. And then it starts singing, you can just hear everybody like, oh, God. Godspeed, See You Again from like Fast and Furious. We were all just like gathered together, and then we'd all gone off to the side. We all just sat in a circle and just held each other. A couple of days later was the funeral, and that was... I've never been to a funeral of that caliber before, you know, where the entire room is packed and you're in an auditorium. The words from his siblings, from everyone that knew him that went up and spoke, Kyrene, like, you just knew that this, like, things are never going to be the same. Things are never going to be the same for a lot of people. It was a beautiful service. The end was, for me, it was confronting. At the end of the service, they had opened the casket? They had opened the box. I'm sorry, the box. I didn't know that they were going to do that. I had just told Amy, like when they'd said it, to just get my headphones out of my bag because I knew what was about to happen. I had an idea. Get my headphones out of my bag. I didn't even plug them in. I just put them in my ears. And you know, for me, that's just like a sensory thing. That's just how I feel safe, is if I have my headphones in my ears. And I just put my hair over my face, and the sounds. Oh man, like it was just, there was so much hurt in that room. And I can't even imagine like what his family were going through, are still currently going through. I wish them literally nothing but like everything good in this world, because they deserve it. Amy had asked if I wanted to go and look because they were doing viewings, and I said no. And I said no because, well, first of all, I could see him from the angle that we were sitting. I could see him, and as we walked down, I could also still see him. And even from there, it just like, it didn't look like him. And I just said no, like I don't want to go look at it because I already know what he looks like. He had a smile, like you knew it was him from a mile away. Also because he was tall and slender as hell. He just had like this smile. And I don't know if it was because of the grills. He definitely put the grills in because he knew he had the smile. You know what I mean? Like he knew what he was good at what he did. He knew what he was doing. But I have his smile and everything like ingrained in my head. And I said, I don't need to go look at that. I already know what he looks like. We went to the burial and I couldn't help but stand there again, like I said. Of fucking course. And I said to Henry, look at the weather. And I was like, this is not a coincidence. This is not a coincidence. This is him. And I will hold on to that sign forever. Every time I can feel the sun just like shining in my face, I know it's him. And I'm standing there at the burial. We're in the cemetery. They're like praying over the casket, and I'm just standing there just looking at the sun. And like I know you should never look directly into the sun, but fuck it. I didn't look. I had just like this. It felt so much more intense than it normally does. Standing there, I check my phone. It's 25 degrees. Light breeze, no clouds, sun out. Like, this motherfucker really put it on today. You're not slick, bro. I know that's you. And the way, I don't know if it, I mean, the sun goes in the same spot every single day. But the timing of when he was being lowered, like the direction of the sun was just like, yeah, that's really for us right now. And I just stood there like this. He did burn me though. He was a little shit, not gonna lie. Did get some like very sunburn on my face, but I feel like that's also my own fault. Like you could have like lowered the UV, just saying. And then we all just stood there, hugged each other, really like just took in the moment after a bunch of people had left. We were there for a while. And shout out to Amy, for real. Like she is a real ass bitch. I don't know what her relationship to Nat was. I know obviously they knew each other and stuff like that, but she just waited for me all day. She just waited for me and not in my face. She knew I would come to her if I needed her, and she just stood to the side and just let me be. And that is a real ass bitch, and I love her. And that really meant like the world to me. We went to the refreshments after. They ran out of food by the time we got there, which was fine. And then we all went to the boys' house after in Avondale. And we were all just like drinking, just talking, sharing stories about Nat, you know. And one thing that me and Nat would always talk about in our conversations about when we'd be catching up and stuff, we'd be talking about the Melbourne climate. And I'm not talking about the weather. I'm talking about the scene. The scene. You feel me? We will always talk about how the community in Melbourne has been lost. You know, it's every man for themselves. People don't want to help each other out anymore. And like people are becoming distant from each other. And like there's just no more community. That's why we wanted to leave. I just found it, you know, so ironic. I don't know if I've been using that word right. Coincidental. I don't know. I'm taking it as a sign. We would always talk about how there's no community. And he is the one that really brought everybody together again. In the worst circumstance. I hate that, you know, it had to be this way, but in such a time of like anguish and distress and chaos, everyone really came together and just, you know, really loved on each other. Like we all prayed together, we hugged each other, we were there, like we just consoled each other. It really brought everybody back together. And I hate that it had to be this way. But if anyone was going to do it, it was Nat. It's so bittersweet, you know what I mean? And the grieving process and everything, this cat is pissing me off. Hey, get out. Yeah, and now you're stuck in the couch. Now what? What the fuck was I saying? Look, and now you've woken your brother up, and I'm just about to end this video. Oh. Yeah, the grieving process has been, again, weird as fuck. I don't know what stage I'm in. I don't really care what stage I'm in. I'm just going through it right now. Like, some days will be great, some days I'll be like, fuck. You know, like, that's still real. Like, that's still happening. Like, that happened? No. I thought we all agreed that didn't happen. And then other days I'll be like, no, it's okay. Like, I can see him everywhere. I can feel him everywhere. Da, da, da. Other days I'll just completely forget. But I just jumped straight into work. I was just working like crazy at Hype. Dumb hours, bro. But now I have a photo of him, this flyer that the boys were going and hanging around the city. I have one of them in my little locker at work. And every time I go in, I say hi and I say bye. Do this on it. I'm like, hey, darling. And then I say, bye, darling. I miss you. And I leave. And I know this shit, like, it won't get easier, but you'll just learn to live with it. And they say that grief is the final act of love. And he was so loved by so many people. So in a way, it makes me feel more comfort knowing that I'm not alone and that I do have so many people that I can talk to about this and that understand the impact that he had on so many people's lives. My final thing that I'm going to say is I had a big opportunity presented to me, which felt so aligned. And the alignment of this was crazy. I'm going to be posting a video about the whole experience and everything, so I will be repeating myself. But I had been reached out to by this agency to do this event with Adidas, whoever you want. And I've never worked with them in my life. Have I wanted to? Sure, like, shit. Don't pass me up on opportunity like that. Like, that's great. Like, I was like, wow, this is so cool. They want me to do this, just be myself basically at this event. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. But I think the alignment came into it and I realized I've never worked with them before. But when I think of Adidas, I think of Nat. Because like I said, I used to walk past his work all the time, wave at him, go in, say hi. He'd always be wearing Adidas. I remember he came to our house one time when I lived with the boys. He'd be at the house every now and then. But he came one time and he just bought these like Bad Bunny Stan Smith thingies. And he was so proud of them and stuff like that. So whenever I think of Adidas, I think of Nat. And I was like, that's so cool that they're reaching out to me for this opportunity because that's Nat. And then they told me that the event was going to be in his old store. And I was like, Haven't been in there. Have not been in there. It took me about 3 weeks to walk past it, and like it just radiated. I could just see him standing in this one spot. Just to go in there and, you know, be essentially the face of the event in his old store. And I was like, I'm doing this for us. And you'll see this in my next vlog that I'm going to post. But for the time being, you know, I'm still just taking every day as it comes, because healing is not linear from literally anything. Trying not to put too much pressure on myself, but I'm also making sure I give time to myself to be able to feel these things and understand them to the best of my abilities, or to how much I want. And that I'm not a hypocrite for having good days and for having bad days, or forgetting that it happened. That doesn't make me a hypocrite. I loved my friend. And I know so many people that loved Nat. I know myself, and I know so many of us will not let him fade away, ever. He's never going to disappear. I'll be talking to him. When I lose shit in my room, I'll be asking. Because the day after I had to go to an event, I didn't have to, but I wanted to get out of the house. I couldn't find my shoes to save my life. And it was stressing me out. I was already, you know, emotionally distraught, and I couldn't find my shoes. Amy was outside. I was like, girl, like, what the fuck? Like, where the fuck are my shoes? And I just sat there and I just like took a deep breath and I said, Nat, where are my shoes? Where are they? Please help me. And literally the next thing, I like turn my head and look at this one piece of clothing that I swear I had lifted up. I look at it, lifted up, there are my shoes. I went, okay, thank you. And like I said, the one thing that we would always talk about is leaving. So now I have to leave. I have to leave now. I'm like, fuck, I actually have to lock in and move out of the country. That's crazy. I can't just sit there. No, I can't. That would be a disservice. It makes me feel better knowing that there is someone as beautiful as Nat looking out for me, for so many other people. And I find comfort in knowing that he's still around everywhere. Doesn't make it easier, but you know, grief is weird as fuck. So that's where I'm going to leave it. There is also a GoFundMe, which I will link in the bio of this video, that my friends had started they want to get a billboard made in honor of Nat. To honor Nat, but also to fight against knife violence. There's been such a rise in it in Melbourne, and it's actually terrifying. It's actually terrifying. I'll leave that in there. Any amount would help and be greatly appreciated. In the famous words of Nat himself, you know, like, this shit is dragged. Buddy, this shit is really fucking dragged. You were right. But you will live forever through us. I promise. Miss you every single day. This has been diary entry number 2. Long live Nat. I miss you. You are ruining my pants. This situation hasn't been easy for so many people, and I don't want anybody to ever feel like they're alone. So if anyone ever needs to speak about anything, I have 2 really good ears, 2 really good shoulders, you know, and there's power in community. So this is a time where we all really need to come together and just be there for each other and push each other to be better, just like he would. Because I know that's what he would have wanted. So yeah, love you, be safe, and I'll see you next time. Later, dude.
You know who I am, Avatar, the motherfucking bat. I'm sorry, I'm too yeah.
Just say where we are.
We're here at the Halloween at West, you know, West Side, West, that's us.